And he's only focused on his area. And I give him the answer. It's shocking. The other thing it talks about is natural light. How your body is designed to wake to natural light, sunlight that you can't get from the standard bulbs. You know, one of the best things you can buy and invest in is a sunlight lamp that actually wakes you up in the morning with the sounds of birds and sun. So the light is a full spectrum light bulb, and instead of an alarm clock going off, it gently starts with some sounds of birds, as you would in the morning, and the light slowly begins to increase its intensity over about 5 or 7 minutes. And this light is full spectrum, so it's similar to what you're getting from the sun, and it wakes you up gently as nature intended. I'm going to talk more about this next week, but there's a lot of factors there that have a profound and dramatic impact on your mood and health throughout the day. We got Marshall on the phone? All right, we got Marshall Silver. I've been talking about him all morning here. So let's get him on the phone. Marshall Silver, thanks for joining me on the Kevin Trudeau Show.
Hey, Kevin, always a pleasure to be chatting with you.
Now, I've been talking about how you are probably one of the most dynamic, prolific trainers and teachers on how to make money, how to teach people how to communicate and persuade better than anyone else out there. And unlike 99.9% of other people that teach success, you absolutely are outrageously successful. You know, we were chatting on the phone over the weekend, and you said, "Hey, KT, I love driving a $450,000 car.
That's very true.
I love living in a palace."
That's very true. There's a book. It's called The Millionaire Next Door, and it's a book that's all about people that have lived their whole lives in cardboard boxes, basically, drove beat-up old clunkers, and then they die with millions of dollars in the bank. And my thought process is, why bother? I mean, you can do that kind of a lifestyle without much effort. You want to produce a really amazing lifestyle, and it's not just about how I live. It's also about how I'm able to contribute to other people's lives at the same time.
Why are so many people broke?
Most people are broke because the majority of the population does as little as they must do to keep their jobs. They don't realize that if they would just do more than they were paid for, they would either get paid more or somebody else would come along and say, "Hey, we want you," or their own work ethic would naturally promote them to a higher place in life. And I think the majority of the planet just doesn't realize that's how nature works.
Are there any skills that people who are not achieving their dreams lack?
Yeah, you know, the number one skill that all entrepreneurs possess, the number one skill that any person that wants to make a fortune needs to learn is people must learn the skills of influence. They've got to learn how to sell things. I think that a lot of people have negative programming about selling things. They think that there's something wrong with it, or it should be avoided, or they should avoid being sold things. And what we teach is we teach that those that are afraid to buy are always afraid to sell. Since every single thought has a psychosomatic response on the body, it's impossible for us to think something without our body responding. If we are afraid to buy, when we go to sell, we project the same communication out to other people. Hey, I'm going to take advantage of you. Hey, I'm going to pull the wool over your eyes. Hey, I'll have you when I sell you. And my own belief is that when I sell something, number one, I'm only going to sell things that I totally believe in. And when I believe in something, I have a moral and ethical obligation to sell it. So when I sell something, it's good for me, it's good for you, it's good for the entire economy. Everybody wins.
Some people, though, would say 5% of the population are natural-born salesmen. And I hate selling. I'm not a good communicator. I'm not a good persuader. I don't like it. I feel rejected if the person says no. It's something I just don't enjoy doing.
Do you golf?
I do.
I golf too, and I don't golf enough to be a great golfer. I remember, because you got to go out consistently to be a decent golfer. At least that's my experience. I remember the first time I went to hit some balls on the driving range. I bought a membership to the country club. I got the finest golf gear, wearing the greatest golf knickers and little golf beanie, and I go out there to swing the club, and my first swing, the ball goes due sideways and almost takes out 4 of the other country club members. And I remembered thinking to myself, how could this be fun? And in the beginning, it really wasn't fun. There was a lot of digging up the grass, and there was a lot of missed shots and a lot of dropped balls, and it wasn't fun. Now that I've golfed a fair amount, though, I can hit it quite well, and it's fun. And so my belief is most people don't like selling because they're not good at it. And they kind of think, just what you just said, that you're either born a natural salesperson or you're not. Yet when we teach people how to sell anybody, anything, and they realize the skill sets work, that there's a very specific science to it, and that they could choose what they wanted to sell now because they can sell anything, then what happens is you find people falling in love with selling. You know, unemployment hovering right around 10% pretty much nationwide is puzzling to me, except if you open up the newspaper in any major city across the United States, you will see hundreds and hundreds of ads for sales positions. Now, here's why I love sales so much. I love it. It makes me giddy. If I'm not selling something, I feel like I'm not doing somebody else what I should be doing them. I'm not doing them their favor. The reason I love selling things is if you know how to influence, if you know how to sell, the world is your oyster. You can literally have anything you want as much as you want. The sky truly is the limit.
But not everyone's going to be as good a persuader or communicator. And that's really what selling is, isn't it? It's more communication and persuasion and trying to get your what you're thinking across to somebody, your idea across to somebody else.
Well, everybody can be, except you're absolutely right that, you know, communication equals wealth. And a lot of people take that to mean the better I communicate with you, the wealthier I can become. The better I can communicate with other people, the wealthier I become. And that's part of it. The challenge is, the first part of it is the better I communicate with myself, the wealthier I become. If I can't communicate with myself to the point that my mind is clear, I'm confident, I'm focused, I'm dynamic, I clearly think, then I'm never going to communicate with somebody else in a way that's going to inspire them to want to buy what I'm selling. And by the way, for me, influence is the ability to get somebody else to ask you for what you're selling. And most importantly, have them believe it was their idea.
Now, you've taught a lot of people, so everyone can get better than from where they're at.
Absolutely.
As opposed to everyone being perfect. So if you and I take golf lessons every single day, you and I are never going to get as good as a top professional. We're not going to be Tiger Woods, but we're going to be infinitely better than 99% of the other golfers out there, right?
Yeah, we're probably not going to be Tiger Woods. We're probably going to, stick to dating just our wives. So in that respect, yeah. That I don't know that. I don't know that. I've seen so many people that were not naturals, that did not sell well, that could barely speak to other people whether they were selling or not. Once we've taught them these powerful skills of influence, I've seen people do a complete 180 and massively start selling, making a ton of money, getting what they want in all areas of their life. And so I'm not certain that there's any limitation on it, because once again, it is the power of communication. And if you ask me, can I teach just about anybody to communicate? Even could I teach that guy that only speaks French to speak in English? The answer is yes. Will he speak his brand of English? Yes. So if I teach somebody that isn't influential, that doesn't have that confidence, and we give that to them, sometimes it's even the charm of somebody being awkward that makes you want to buy from them. Think about the Girl Scout or the Cub Scout that knocks on your door and is selling cookies or candy bars. If they're charming and they've got their skill set down, you buy every single box they have, just because that other element of charm is so prevalent. It makes you want to do that.
Now, how did you transition into teaching this? Because your background was a stage hypnotist in Las Vegas, right?
True. And it was the perfect training ground. I'd be on stage in front of drunks and loudmouths and angry people who had lost their money. There'd be 1,000 people in the room twice a night, 6 nights a week. And my job was, number one, to entertain them, and number two, to get them up on the stage. And rather than selling them a car or a house or a seminar, my job was to sell them on singing like Madonna and stripping like a Chippendales dancer. So what I realized was the same language patterns that I was using on stage to get people to do the most impossible of things was the same language patterns that I needed to influence them to get off drugs, to learn to be happy, to take actions that they thought were impossible and yet within their realm.
So when a person goes to one of your seminars, Are you programming them as well? Are you, quote, hypnotizing them as well for success?
Yeah, that's the biggest difference between me and any other trainer on the planet is I don't just teach. I literally program people on a subconscious level to start being a different person. I think it's not enough to learn something. You've actually got to become someone new. And when you become someone new, what happens is there's no effort. You don't have to force yourself to do something differently. You just are that different person, so you naturally take those different actions.
We're talking with Marshall Silver, who's a longtime friend and colleague of mine and one of the most prolific teachers of persuasion, communication, selling that there is. And he's most importantly not just dynamic from the stage and a great teacher, as he mentioned, he's programming you for success when you see him. And he's a very special guy. He's made tens of millions of dollars himself before he started teaching you how to make money. So he's the real deal. Now, tell us about your radio show, too, and what else you're doing.
We are having so much fun, Kevin. I've got a radio show that when people listen, we pay them $50 per hour just to listen to the radio show. We also pay them up to $500 per person that they refer to listen to the radio show. Those dollars that they earn, they can then in turn use toward a number of things, dozens and dozens of things in our catalog. Everything from live seminars to home study courses to business software packages worth thousands of dollars. They could even come and stay in one of my mansions in Las Vegas with the scholarship dollars that they're earning. And in addition to that, the show is a call-in show. So that means anybody off the street can give me a call and ask me advice in the areas of sex, money, and power, just a few of the things I know something about. And then on top of all that, if all that weren't enough, we're also giving away $1,000 cash every single hour the show's live. And when people check it out at GetRichRadio.com, what they'll see is on that webpage, they'll see their meters flying while they're listening. They'll see their referral meter flying when they refer people. And they can click on a list and see pictures and testimonials from all the people that I've given thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of cash to. And it's been a really cool thing. It's kind of my economic stimulus plan.
What's the website again?
It's called GetRichRadio.com.
In
fact, we'd love to have your radio show on that website so that people could also earn cash while they were listening to your show.
Yeah, I think, well, aren't you talking to Matt about getting
We are. We're talking to your producer about it, and it's going really well, and we've even mentioned it on the air, and I've got to tell you, I know you know this. You have such a massive fan base. The moment I mentioned it, phone lines blew up. Everybody calling in to say, oh, my God, thank you. We love his show. We'd love to be able to, earn scholarship dollars while we're listening to KT.
Fantastic. It's GetRichRadio.com, right?
That's right.
GetRichRadio.com. Well, Marshall, listen, it's great talking to you. I know we're going to be talking over this weekend about the cruise because we're working out all the details for that and some of those
other... I'm really excited about that, too. I realize that the quality of the people that you are promoting, that you are teaching, that you are developing inside of Gin is just absolutely amazing. I had a blast at the event that we did for you in San Diego, and I am positive, just positive, that you are on to something really, really big with Gin. And I'm really looking forward to getting in there and doing some of my specialized magic and truly making every single person inside of Gin 10 times more influential and able to sell than they ever were before by showing them some truly powerful hypnotic selling skills.
Yeah, well, next year, one of the things we want to do is obviously put together some specific courses on how to make the sale. Because Gin, obviously, when you're a member, you can refer somebody else to join and you get a commission, a percentage of their membership dues. So one of the big challenges that the average guy has is, I got somebody that I'm talking to about Gin. They're not in Gin, and I'm trying to get them into Gin. How do I get them to sign up as a member? And I think, you and I can work on putting together some specific training on just that skill. And don't you think that's going to have just a dramatic impact?
Well, Gin members, as you just mentioned, some of them just love the content. They just love the material that they're learning, and they have no desire to, be an affiliate and tell other people about Gin. They love the stuff so much it's for themselves. And then other people are affiliates or are members that refer other members. And the thing about, again, influence is for everybody. And whether somebody owns their own small business and or the best combination, they own their own business and they also tell a ton of other people about Gin, the thing is that skill set of influencing, of persuading, of selling goes across all different boundaries of what we want in our lives. If